man. Cakewalk, easy. Y'all sitting up here, y'all praising this dude. This dude was nothing. I was almost 40 years old when I cooked this dude.
Terence Crawford has decided to involve Floyd Mayweather in his training camp for his upcoming fight against Canelo Alvarez later this year. The undefeated boxing legend was thoroughly impressed by Crawford's remarkable improvement. Mayweather expressed full confidence that Canelo would be put to sleep when the fight happens. In addition to Crawford's already polished skill set, Mayweather offered some of his trademark defensive techniques to help avoid getting hit by the bigger man. The shoulder roll was one of the key moves he taught, along with some footwork techniques for Crawford to imitate. It's clear that Crawford is preparing for both Canelo's offensive and defensive strategies, whatever style he brings to the ring. The undefeated pound-for-pound king believes he can do serious damage. During a conversation after the training session, Mayweather reflected on his own fight with Canelo Alvarez years ago. He pointed out the many similarities between his younger self back then and Terence Crawford now, implying that the outcome will be no different this time around. Mayweather fought Canelo in a WBC and WBA light middleweight title bout in September 2013. It was the 45th fight of Mayweather's illustrious career, as he faced a young, rising Mexican star in what was considered a major test. Though many expected a tough contest, it turned into a one-sided affair, with Mayweather winning comfortably on points, even if the scorecards were closer than what most fans believed.
I was 36, and Canelo was 23, around the same age. Some of these guys.
And Mayweather dominated the fight from start to finish, using his exceptional skills and experience to outclass Canelo over 12 rounds, ultimately securing a majority decision victory. Despite clearly being the superior fighter on the night, Judge C.J. Ross controversially scored the bout 114-114, a decision that left many in the arena stunned, including Mayweather himself. In an interview with Fight Hype, the 47-year-old didn't mince words when speaking about Canelo's boxing abilities. Summing up the fight in just 3 words, he said, "He was nothing." Mayweather elaborated further on his opinion of the Mexican star's skill level. "You can take a guy like Canelo. I'll tell the truth about Canelo."
It's really that they don't want, it's not that they don't want to see Tank win because they feel like it's beating me because I dominated the fight game for so long. But these same writers out here, they praise Canelo. He can pick and choose who he want to fight.
Mayweather retired just a few years later, but more than a decade on, Canelo remains one of the biggest names in boxing. He has secured world titles in the middleweight, super middleweight, and light heavyweight divisions, even becoming the undisputed champion at 168 pounds. After suffering the first loss of his career at the hands of Mayweather, Canelo bounced back impressively, winning his next 15 fights and collecting multiple world titles across 3 weight classes. Now he appears poised for another blockbuster showdown, this time against fellow
world titles, and was undisputed champion. I think, the Tank age, the young low champions.
Observers believe the weight difference could be a major factor in the upcoming fight, as Crawford would be jumping from 154 lbs to 168 lbs, a division he's only competed in once before. With Canelo being naturally the much bigger man, many believe this size disparity could lead to a devastating knockout victory for the Mexican. This concern mirrors the situation when Canelo faced Amir Khan, who also moved up 2 weight classes and was ultimately knocked out. With that in mind, Mayweather was asked about Canelo's power and whether
Canelo was 23 with 43 fights and 30 knockouts. And the world said he was inexperienced. I was 36.
Mayweather added that Canelo's power in the ring was nothing he hadn't experienced before. "It's nothing I've never felt before," he said, reflecting on his 2-decade-long boxing career. His comments may boost Crawford's confidence, especially considering Canelo has failed to stop any of his last 5 opponents. The 34-year-old from Guadalajara, Mexico, currently holds the unified WBC, WBA, and WBO titles at 168 lbs and is set to defend his crown against fellow pound-for-pound superstar Terence "Bud" Crawford later this year. The highly anticipated bout is shaping up to be one of the biggest fights in boxing history. Canelo's only other career loss came
with 40-something fights. And to tell you the truth, I was over the hill. And so when I fight guys, when I'm in my 30s and they're in their 30s.
What made the situation even more intriguing was that after Mayweather and Crawford met, renowned boxing promoter Eddie Hearn was also spotted at the training camp to support Shakur Stevenson. What began as a routine session quickly turned into a mini-gathering of some of the biggest names in boxing. They say, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but in today's world, especially when celebrities are involved, keeping things under wraps is nearly impossible. And when the name Floyd Mayweather is in the mix, secrecy becomes completely out of the question. A recent meeting between Money Mayweather and Eddie Hearn at a gym in Las Vegas drew considerable attention. While the interaction appeared lighthearted on the surface.
So one day, somebody asked you, because you know I don't have social media on my phone. Yeah. So they showed me Eddie. Eddie was like, Floyd Mayweather ain't got no money. That's why he's doing exhibitions.
It's worth noting that not long ago, Eddie Hearn was frequently claiming, whenever given the opportunity, that Floyd Mayweather no longer had the kind of money he claimed to possess. According to Hearn, this was the reason Mayweather continued to seek out exhibition bouts. During his stellar boxing career, Mayweather reportedly earned over $1.2 billion, with massive paydays from blockbuster fights against the likes of Manny Pacquiao and Conor McGregor. Despite those earnings, widespread reports suggest that his current net worth is estimated at around $400 million, still more than enough to sustain his famously extravagant lifestyle outside the ring. Although he officially retired from
exhibition. No, Eddie don't believe that now.
Yeah. But Eddie will say some shit like that. Man.
Eddie will say some shit, but one thing.
The boxing legend has repeatedly claimed that he earns 8-figure paydays from each exhibition bout, even going so far as to call them legalized bank robberies. However, when asked why he continues to take part in these showman-style events, Mayweather has maintained that his goal is to continue building generational wealth. Meanwhile, Matchroom boxing promoter Eddie Hearn has publicly questioned the true state of Mayweather's finances. In multiple interviews, Hearn suggested that Mayweather's net worth might not be as high as people believe.
But me and Eddie got it clear, didn't we, Eddie? Yeah. One thing, me and my buddy got it clear.
We said as long as it's 10 or 20, no problem. Anything less.
The climax of the situation came when Mayweather ran into Eddie Hearn in Las Vegas and directly confronted him about the comments. According to the undefeated former champion, Hearn occasionally makes remarks like that, but the two had already cleared the air. What followed was a lighthearted exchange, with both men joking about the incident as if the rumors had been true, playfully taking jabs at each other, while their entourages laughed and celebrated the moment. The pair crossed paths at a boxing gym in Las Vegas where they were both watching sparring sessions. They were in town for the fight between Diego Pacheco and Steve Nelson.
Can't be less than 10. Because then we're struggling for money.
I had to show Eddie some of the account.
Eddie was like, Floyd Mayweather Jr. ain't got no money, that's why he's doing exhibitions, Mayweather recalled with a smug grin. But Eddie doesn't really believe that. I know he says stuff like that sometimes, but me and Eddie got it all cleared up. Both Mayweather and Hearn were smiling as they shook hands, showing there were no hard feelings between them. Hearn then joked, yeah, as long as it's $10 or $20 million, there's no problem. Anything less, it can't be less than 10. The joke...
How much money Floyd Mayweather would have made if I was his promoter back in the day? You know what I'm saying?
Mayweather Jr. revealed that he even went as far as showing Eddie Hearn his bank accounts to put any doubts to rest. Listen, I had to show Eddie some of my accounts, Mayweather said with a grin. Hearn, in response, playfully added, Imagine how much Floyd Mayweather would have made if I'd been his promoter. You know what I'm saying? Despite the playful back and forth, it's clear that Mayweather is far from short on cash. In fact, his recent spending spree speaks volumes. The boxing legend has been making major investments. Finally, they say, many a true word is spoken in jest. But in the case of Floyd "Money" Mayweather, that doesn't quite apply. The facts speak for themselves. He remains one of the wealthiest former athletes in the world. While it's currently unclear whether Mayweather has any upcoming exhibitions planned, he continues to be linked to potential high-paying return bouts. Though Eddie Hearn never had the chance to promote Mayweather during his career, it's easy to imagine he wishes he had.
I come and do an exhibition or come out and box and have some fun. I do it because I want to do it, not because I have to do it.
However, despite earning an extraordinary amount of money over a professional boxing career that spanned more than 20 years, there have long been rumors and stories suggesting that Floyd Mayweather hasn't always been wise with his finances. Even in the build-up to his blockbuster 2017 fight against Conor McGregor, the Irishman took jabs at Mayweather's financial situation, insinuating that the undefeated former world champion was dealing with tax issues. While Mayweather remains the wealthiest boxer in history by a significant...
Yeah, I think that Mayweather was unquestionably one of the best ever. But I don't know.
In a recent interview with GRM Daily, Eddie Hearn once again cast doubt on Floyd "Money" Mayweather's financial status, suggesting the 50-year-old boxing legend might not have as much money as he claims. "I don't think he's got the money he says he has. That's just what I think," Hearn said. "I don't think he needs the money, but when you've got that kind of lifestyle and you're spending what he's spending." In response, Mayweather fired back with a new video on Instagram, boasting more than...
It's difficult to say he's not a true fighter because he fought everybody he could of his era, but he was a different kind of skill set. You know, he was very much hit and don't get hit, which is the art of boxing.
In the video, Mayweather was presented a check, presented with a check,
and he continued
and he
by intentionally announcing amount in the check and said, "You know what we do? The one and only Floyd Money Mayweather, CEO of Zeus. I appreciate you. You guys always do great business.
You guys
That's
always
6
do great
zeros. It's not bad.
That's
it's a deal.
zeros.
I appreciate
not
it."
Bad.
The money man is back, you know?
You know what we do? The one and only Floyd Money Mayweather, CEO of Zeus.
Mayweather later appeared in another interview where he took a playful jab at Eddie Hearn, saying, "When I come and do an exhibition, it's because
of boxing." I think sometimes when these guys carry on and they do the exhibition...
Floyd Mayweather is widely recognized as the biggest moneymaker in the history of combat sports. At 47 years old, the undefeated boxing icon enjoyed a flawless professional career, retiring with an unprecedented 50-0 record. Over the course of his career, Mayweather not only dominated inside the ring, but also became the sport's
the art of boxing. I think sometimes when these guys carry on and they do the exhibitions and all that kind of stuff, it just sort of diminishes.
Ernie's comments carry some weight, as Mayweather has long been known for publicly flaunting his wealth, often showcasing stacks of cash, luxury cars, and high-end business ventures. However, he has also faced criticism over the years for not always being financially savvy. Despite ending his professional boxing career with a massive payday in one of the sport's most lucrative events, his 2017 bout against former two-division UFC champion Conor McGregor, Mayweather has continued to participate in exhibition fights. These post-retirement appearances have included matchups against YouTube.
I want to say I appreciate you. You guys always do great business. And of course,
You know,
if I'm the money man, they gotta have some fun.
we always got something for it. It's easy. It's easy.
Got some zeros.
Is that all right?
The fact that Mayweather continues to compete in exhibition matches years after retiring from professional boxing has led many to question the true state of his financial stability. Despite earning an astonishing amount of money over the course of his career, Mayweather is frequently seen on social media flaunting large sums of cash, luxury watches, and speaking about various business ventures. Promoter Eddie Hearn has been among
the legacy a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
And that's what I feel like's happened with Mayweather.
Elsewhere, Terence Crawford made headlines by confidently claiming he would have defeated Floyd Mayweather had they ever shared the ring during Mayweather's prime. The switch hitter from Omaha, Nebraska, has built an exceptional legacy of his own, becoming a four-weight world champion with 31 knockouts to his name. Crawford most recently captured the WBA super welterweight world title with a decision win over Israel Madrimov, marking the fourth weight division in which he's claimed world honors. Notably, he is one of only 3 fighters in the four-belt era to become undisputed champion in 2 separate weight classes, a rare and remarkable feat. As Crawford continues...
So if he was pound for pound, Floyd was pound for pound. You or Floyd, who would have done that? Who would have won that?
Me.
Oh, shit, okay, I'm just asking.
Floyd Money Mayweather famously retired undefeated in 2017, cementing his legacy as one of the most lucrative and dominant stars in boxing history. Known for his defensive brilliance, Mayweather racked up wins against some of the sport's biggest names, including Canelo Alvarez, Manny Pacquiao, Shane Mosley, and Oscar De La Hoya. But would Terence Crawford have joined that list of opponents? Had their paths crossed in the ring? When asked on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast how he would fare against Mayweather, Crawford didn't hesitate to back himself. "Me versus anybody," he said with confidence. Crawford's longtime trainer, Brian Bowman...
That would have been a hard fucking fight, though.
Man, me versus anybody, I'm gonna always say me.
Still, even Crawford's trainer, Brian Bomac McIntyre, acknowledges the challenge of facing Mayweather at his peak. If you put Bud in there in his prime with Mayweather in his prime, then of course Floyd is going to be the smarter one, he said. But I think Bud would have more dog in him. Whether Crawford could break through Mayweather's legendary defense remains a topic of heated debate, and likely always will. Another debate that continues to stir passionate opinions in the boxing world is the discussion of the greatest of all time. Floyd Mayweather and Roy Jones Jr.
Floyd 50-0, or is it like?
You gotta respect anything a person does to stay undefeated that long. So I respect it to a degree, yeah. Is it a 50-0 that I think, oh, he the greatest fighter all time? Nah.
Floyd Mayweather, with his flawless 50-0 record, is regarded by many as the greatest pound-for-pound boxer in history. Known for his near-impenetrable defense and masterful ability to control the tempo of a fight, Mayweather was a once-in-a-generation talent. Beyond his in-ring dominance, he also achieved extraordinary commercial success, headlining 4 of the 5 highest-grossing pay-per-view events in boxing history. However, not everyone agrees with labeling Mayweather the GOAT, greatest of all time. Roy Jones Jr., himself an undisputed champion across 4 weight classes, voiced a contrasting opinion. In an interview with Real Life Productions, when asked if he considered Mayweather the greatest, Jones responded bluntly, "No." Known for his slick yet punishing style, Jones Jr.
Shabby was 80-0 at one point. 80. He could retire to 80-0. You go up and top that? No. He just didn't stop, right? You got to 50 and you stopped because of Rocky Marciano.
Right.
So Rocky died.
The Mayweather famously concluded his legendary boxing career with a perfect 50-0 record, securing titles across 5 weight divisions. His defensive mastery is still widely regarded as the best the sport has ever seen. Coupled with his commercial appeal, headlining 4 of the 5 best-selling pay-per-view events in boxing history, he became not only one of the most skilled fighters but also one of the most marketable athletes the sport has ever produced. Still, in an interview with Real Life Productions, Roy Jones Jr. challenged the notion that Mayweather's record automatically makes him the greatest of all time. Does 50-0 mean he's the GOAT? No, Jones said. You have to respect what it takes to stay undefeated that long, I do. But is 50-0 the most impressive campaign ever? not in my opinion. He elaborated by pointing to other historic runs in boxing.
If he wasn't there, he probably would have kept going too. So and then at the end, you fight a guy that's 0-0 for number 50. How can I respect it? You feel me? Right. So, I mean, I love Floyd, don't get it wrong, I'm not hating on Floyd, but come on, bro, you fight a guy that's 0-0, Conor McGregor.
Jones also took particular issue with Mayweather's choice of opponent for his farewell bout, criticizing the 10th round stoppage win over UFC superstar Conor McGregor, who was making his professional boxing debut. For purists like Jones, that kind of matchup didn't align with what they believe a career-defining finale should look like. In the end, the debate over who truly holds the title of greatest of all time remains unresolved, and likely always will. The legacies of Floyd Mayweather and Roy Jones Jr. reflect two distinct paths to greatness, each marked by unparalleled accomplishments and unique philosophies on what defines boxing excellence.